All right. Welcome back, everybody. The Rewatchers Council. Glad you're watching the show. A good episode this week.
It was.
What's my line? Part one, of course. Just a setup episode, but it turns out I had a whole bunch of notes. Anyways, my name's Snark. Joining me, of course, Adilia. Thanks for coming, Adilia. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Snark. It
Yeah.
was a good episode. Very much looking forward to watching the conclusion to this little story arc next week. But
Yes.
I thought it was a lot of setup, but it was good setup. So
It was fun setup.
yeah.
Couple of odd things about it, I would say. But
One
yes,
thing in
other than that.
particular that I'm not thrilled about, but
Oh, no.
we'll get to that.
I wonder if it's a salesman. Anyways, uh, okay.
You may just be right.
Yeah. Listen. Okay. Uh, now, listen. Uh, its original air date, November 17th, 1997. What a day it was. It was written by Howard Gordon. Howard Gordon, see what did he write for? Homeland, 24, The X Files. Of course, he did some Angel episodes as well. And of course, it's the first writing credit for Marty Noxon. Let's see, what else is Marty Noxon? Well, she's on Brothers and Sisters. She did that Fright Night remake. Remember that one? The one with
Vaguely.
Colin, who's its name there? Lots of stuff with Mad Men and then Glee as well. But here's the deal, of course, with Marty Noxon. She would become a co-producer and then a producer. She becomes the executive producer for the last couple of years. She writes 23 episodes in total. Her fingerprints are all over Buffy the Vampire Slayers. Some people say, for good and bad. A lot of people don't like what she did with the series the last couple of seasons. And I say those seasons have great moments in them. So you take it as it is. And you know what? Someone had to step up, do the job. She did. I think she left Buffy a better place, uh, mostly because of the episodes she wrote, including this one and the next one, which I can't wait to talk about. Also, this episode directed by David Solomon. He'll direct 19 episodes in total. He'll also be the producer, the co-producer. He co-executive produces at the end as well. Him and Marty Noxon really go together on the whole journey of Buffy the Vampire Slayer from here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Number one movie in the United States. The number one movie in the United States at this time. I remember seeing in the theater. I've never seen it again. It's fun when I see that who's in it and stuff like that. The movie's The Jackal. Do you remember that one?
No.
It's a Richard Gere movie with Bruce Willis. And I think Bruce Willis is the bad guy in this one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't remember. Anyways, I just remember this is like Jack Black's first credited on like a film or something like that. I remember
Okay.
him getting shot at in the yard by Bruce Willis. That's all I remember. Anyways, the number one songs are the usual suspects. Do I even have to go over them? Sure. Candle in the Wind, of course, in the States. Barbie Girl, once again, in the UK. And the national stain, Tub Thumping, the number one song in Canada.
It just cracks me up that was number one in Canada.
For that long, like for if it goes number one, it's like okay, it's a kooky song, it's corny or whatever, sure. For as long as it's number one in bananas, it's bananas. Anyways, let's go on. Let's move on to happier things. Happier than Chumbawamba. We got the DVD synopsis here, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
It says, as career week at school has Buffy wondering about her future may have been like, Spike hires 3 professional bounty hunters to ensure she has no future at all.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of the story.
pretty grave sounding, though, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode starts off with yet another theme week at this massive high school. career week. Did you ever have a
Rude.
career? Did you ever have a career week?
We did. We had a lot of themed weeks at my high school. Um, we did have career week. We did I don't remember us taking a test and them assigning us a booth.
That was going to be one of my questions I asked. Was like, was there a questionnaire when you if you did have a career week? Was there a questionnaire you had to figure out? And did these people actually come and like headhunt you and stuff like that from high school?
No, there were definitely people that came and like not necessarily from like professions, but
Yeah.
from like, hey, if you go to this school, you can get to this profession kind of stuff. There was a lot
Oh,
of that.
okay. Uh, so yeah, there's no questions about shrubs or anything like that yet,
No,
is
I
there?
didn't have to answer a question about shrubs. I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was odd, but not out of the question for this series for sure.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Cordy at her altruistic best. She's always thinking about helping the little guy,
Oh yeah.
which is nice.
That's definitely Cordelia's MO.
Yeah, as long as they're not smelly, dirty, or something gross. So yeah, that's basically my that I would be the same way. Uh,
Great foreshadowing that line, by the way, for the guy that she deals with at the end
yes.
of the episode.
Oh, yes. Something that's a little gross. So, uh, yeah, of course, we get a little acrimonious exchange between her and Xander, par for the series, right? But then
Yeah.
we move on to Spike's lair, and Drew has let's say, a unique set of tarot cards. I say unique because I don't think any of those cards actually exist. I think they,
I'd agree with that. I've
I
never
think they
seen
made
tarot cards like that before.
No, I think they made them up just for the show or whatever, just to fill in or whatever, which is fine. That's fine. Who cares? Who really knows what what is it? The Queen of Cups really means,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyways, there's a new vampire this time, a little nerd vampire, trying to figure out what that book that other vampire stole in the Lie to Me episode. And then
Mhm.
Giles was complaining about how it stole my book or whatever. Well, this is the book. He's getting a little angry because the transcriber guy can't figure it out. Then Drew starts whining. Spike starts apologizing. Now, it turns out that book needs some kind of key to figure it out. Drew figures that stuff out. Uh, Also, Drew and Spike kiss here, and it's like really passionate for some reason. Like we never
Yeah.
seen them kiss like that before, and it's like for
Yeah.
no reason.
It was very strange to have a kiss that passionate at that moment.
Yeah. So, oh, I forgot to mention the transcriber's name is Dalton.
Dalton.
What? Yeah, Dalton. That guy does not
Sure.
look like a Dalton, if you ask me.
No.
No, he's played by a man named Eric Sight. He was in Ferris Bueller, I guess, which is good. He was in Godzilla. He was in
Okay.
Steel. I don't remember him at all from any of those movies, and I believe I've
I
seen them
don't
all.
either.
Yeah, yeah. So Drew tells him there's a key. Spike says he's gonna send the boys to go find it. Turns out the boys consist of Dalton and some red shirt guy.
Yeah.
Then Spike picks up Drusilla and dances around with her. So just remember, he's picking her up and dancing around with her. Next, we are go back to the parking lot graveyard. And also, whenever I see the graveyard now, I can't stop thinking about how it's a parking lot instead of just a regular graveyard. Buffy hears noises coming from one of the, I would say, dozens of different
Mhm.
mausoleums that thing has. It's crazy.
Lot of mausoleums in this graveyard.
Yeah. She sees Dalton chipping at something and then decides to wait until he's
Yeah.
finished before doing anything about it. But
Weird choice from Buffy.
yeah, it's just like, oh, let's be a little less proactive. Let's
Yeah.
just wait. We'll wait for them to figure everything out. Eventually come to me because I always figure it out anyways. And well, she gets attacked by the red shirt guy, and by the time she's finished dusting him, Dalton's gone. So we have to, so it goes. So she goes, huh, what? Now we switch over to her bedroom where Angel is creepily just lurking around. Uh, she Buffy comes in through the window. Now comes in through her bedroom window. So one thing I noticed, she has two posters of New York City for some reason.
Okay.
One is above her dresser.
Mhm.
The other is below the window, like between the window and the floor.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that something like, is that
I
some kind of
mean,
feng shui that I just don't know about?
I don't know about feng shui, but I definitely put posters anywhere I could in my room when I was a teenager. So, I
Yeah,
probably
well,
had one underneath my window.
it seemed like she had a lot of space. There was only two pictures. The one
Yeah.
above the dresser, the one under the window. Anyways, that's fine. Turns out Joyce is in LA and she's gonna
Mhm.
be there till Thursday. She says she's gonna be 4 days in LA by herself.
Yep.
She's left her 16-year-old kid to fend for herself for 4 days.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep,
that's a choice.
yep, sure, yep. Parenting was different then. I
Yeah.
remember I remember my mom said she'd go out for a pack of cigarettes, didn't come back for 2.5 years, Delia.
Okay.
I don't even remember what she looks like. Anyways, so yes, 16 years old. Well, that's the worst thing that happens to the 16 years old girl. Then whatever. So she, they start talking or whatever. Angel says something. She says something back, and the angel gets really sulky. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, throughout this whole entire conversation, he seems like he's kind of whiny about it and stuff. I don't know if that's just because it's a new writer, even though Marty had been there since the beginning of the season. She was a story editor. I think we said on the first episode. So yeah, I don't know why they had that choice or whatever, just to be kind of just a sad boy, but whatever. Uh, Buffy starts complaining about uh, she just wants to have a normal life. She wants to be a regular kid. Of course, foreshadowing, foreshadowing. And then they recognize the cradle robber in the room. Uh, and
I was astounded that line was in there.
yeah, and Angel chuckles at it.
Yeah, just laughs.
Yeah, it's yeah, that was I think even more creepy. Like, I am a dirty predator, that's for sure. Anyways, she talks about her Dorothy Hamill phase when she sees the picture of Buffy with the figure
That
skating
made
and
me
stuff.
laugh.
Now, she was born. Buffy was born in 1981. Dorothy Hamill one was a gold medal in 1976. So
Yeah.
if she was even 5 years old, that would have been 10 years after Dorothy Hamill. You're still having a Dorothy Hamill phase in 1986?
I don't know.
Like,
I thought the Dorothy Hamill choice there was pretty weird. Like, surely they could have
yeah,
gone with a different
I would
figure
say
skater.
like Debbie Thomas or I think Katarina Witt was a
Katarina
figure
Witt,
skater then. Yeah. Anyways,
Christy Yamaguchi,
yeah, well, I think that's even a little bit later on. But yeah, uh,
maybe.
yeah,
Still,
there were better choices. Better choices, I think.
better
I think
choices than Dorothy
they just
Hamill.
maybe they just wanted to have Buffy with a bowl cut, which is basically, I believe, what all the Dorothy Hamill uh,
Mhm.
style was. Looked like Mark Hamill, if you know what I mean. Now, Buff or Angel then decides he's going to set up a date with Buffy at the local ice rink. So
Mhm.
California, small California town that has everything in it, including a huge indoor rink. Uh, Southern California, is that a big? I don't know if that's a huge deal. Like, are there many rinks in Southern California, just in small towns?
I mean, I wouldn't know.
I don't think. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't hear
Maybe.
about many
As
hockey
as
players
we
coming from
as we've
California.
esta there's quite a few that come from the LA area, but, I think we've established already that Sunnydale has everything, even though
Yeah,
it's supposed to be very small.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It is
Yeah.
ridiculous. It gets a lot bigger. So even come to season 4, but we'll talk about that. Anyways, we go back to school. I guess the job postings are up. And Cordy is chosen to be either a personal shopper or a motivational speaker, which I get. I like
Sure.
that. Sure, yeah.
Personal shopper with Cordy, I think could really work. Motivational speaker, I'm with Xander on that one. Like maybe talk people into how to be their annoying selves.
Sure. I would think though that she would prefer getting a personal shopper and not being a personal shopper.
I would
But
agree with
either
that
way,
as well.
yeah. Uh,
So I looked it up. Dorothy Hamill was the world professional figure skating champion from 1983 to 1987.
geez, she
So
was still going.
maybe,
Wow, that's a big career. Yeah, probably
yeah,
then. I wonder if she still had
yeah,
the same haircut. Like you just get.
probably
It's like Jennifer Aniston even changed her haircut up, and she had a haircut named after her. Anyways, whatever. That's fine.
named after a character, but yeah,
Oh, I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Named after a character. Maybe Dorothy Hamill's just playing a character. You don't know. Anyways, uh, uh, so Xander gets prison guard, and Cordelia
prison guard.
finds this hilarious for some reason. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, Buffy gets Willow doesn't actually find out what hers is. Hers isn't even listed.
yeah.
Buffy,
Willow's not on the list.
yeah, Buffy gets a law enforcement professional. Like I guess that means police officer or security guard or something like that.
Yeah,
And I have written down here, what's with Buffy and chokers?
those were very big in the 90s for teenage girls. So
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Uh,
yeah,
maybe it just wasn't in Winnipeg, but they all were wearing
maybe
scarves.
not in
They were
Winnipeg,
wearing,
but like
yeah,
yeah,
they were wearing scarves instead.
yeah.
It's a California thing. So yeah, Willow's quite upset that hers didn't get posted. She even used a number 2 pencil, Adilia,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. Then we see Giles walking with a bunch of books that are remarkably well balanced and don't move at all, except for when he puts it down on the table and he kind of slides it over. You can definitely tell there's a big pole in the middle of
Oh
these
yeah,
books.
oh yeah.
Yeah. He starts complaining about how pompous some of the old Watchers were. Buffy fills him in about the theft over at the mausoleum. He tries to give her crap for 10 minutes about why she didn't go figure it out and stuff like that. But you know, she just passes it off. She wonders what the whole 9 yards means. She says 9 yards of what, Adelia? Well, of course it means like everything. And
Yeah.
from what I know, the whole 9 yards always meant the amount of fabric it took to make a kilt. Now it might be
Okay.
something else, but yeah, that's where the whole 9 yards comes from. Suppose it takes 9 yards. I have a kilt. I don't know how it eats 9 yards. I guess maybe because it's doubled up. And God, you wouldn't think those things are heavy and warm, but let me tell you, those things are uncomfortable, especially in the summertime. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so then Giles starts wondering what was stolen. And then we find out, luckily for the plot of the episode, that the key to deciphering that antique looking book was in a mausoleum in Sunnydale.
I mean, how convenient.
It's pretty good. Yeah, lucky for us watching the show.
Yeah.
As happy as Spike is about it, Dalton has to remind him of the Slayer just to piss him off. So he
Yep.
decides to hire the Order of Taraka. Always a fun
Yeah.
name. They make
That
up
is a
fun
fun
names for
name.
this. All right, the Order of Taraka. Bounty hunters that Dalton considers overkill for some reason. Spike
Mm-hmm.
disagrees. Then we get to see the tarot cards come out again. Pretty on the nose tarot cards. One, a cycloptic demon.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is literally a grub worm for some reason. And then the next one was a leopard in the bushes.
Yeah.
That one I didn't really understand. I don't know I don't know if there's something I'm just missing about it. But anyways,
Yeah.
back at school, Buffy is left with Giles. Will and Xander cover for her to Principal Snyder. He considers anything Xander says an airborne toxic event, Adelia.
Mm-hmm.
Xander tells him that he hopes to be as honest with him someday. Then
The principal is so mean to his students.
I love
Like, I
I love
don't know
Snyder.
how he has a job. You could not talk to students like that nowadays.
Principal Flutie was nice. He was fun to see and stuff like that. I'm glad he was eaten, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I do like Principal Snyder.
I like
I would
Principal Snyder too, but, like, you could not talk to kids like that nowadays.
yes. It's a I think it's a Napoleon. Maybe he has a Napoleon complex or something. Anyways, Willow is confronted by two suited men and asked to come with them. Oh boy. She's brought to a curtained off area in the school. There's classical music playing first. I remember the first time I saw this episode, I thought maybe it was like those guys from uh, the FBI department that took the Invisible Girl. I
Yeah, that's
figured
what
it
I
was
was thinking too.
yeah. So there's some classical music playing. There's some hors d'oeuvres, Adelia. Some canapé.
Canape.
You know,
I mean, this seems like a lot.
it's, yeah. And it's just they have a butler. There's a butler in there.
There's a
It's just a
butler.
school. It's just a school. Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out she's been selected to meet with one of the world's biggest tech giants, and that they were following her for a long time, which is, again, they've been following teenage girls online for a long time. Not
Mhm.
great. That isn't great
Nope.
optics, guys. And they only wanted to speak to one other student, Adelia. Who could it be? Oh,
I was so excited it was Oz.
it's Oz. So Oz and Willow had their first face to face, and he actually gets to talk to her. And then
Yep.
it's about canapé.
Yep.
I didn't even look up what canapé is. Do you know what canapé is?
It's some form of hors d'oeuvres. That's all
Yeah,
I know.
I think I got the gist of that as well. I just don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah,
I don't
all
know.
right.
I have no idea what they were serving them now.
Giles and Buffy now are on their way to the mausoleum. She's still upset with him. He tells her again about her sacred duty, and she should still be able to get some kind of outside career. And then Giles wonders if she's ever considered law enforcement.
I laughed so hard when he said that.
In the mausoleum, they find Dulac's reliquary was broken into. Now, he was the author of the book that was stolen. Oh boy. Buffy wonders if what they stole will help them read the book. It's like, yeah, I would
Of
imagine.
course.
I would imagine that
Of
would be it.
course.
I'm
My
not a
my
super
favorite
brainiac.
line in my favorite line in the episode was in this scene where Giles had said that this Dulac guy was excommunicated and Buffy said excommunicated and sent to Sunnydale. Like it just made me
Like
laugh.
things could be worse, Buffy. Things could be worse. Unbelievable. Anyways, Giles isn't all that hopeful, and then we see a bus arrive at the good old bus station. Bus station's been mentioned before and seen before.
Seen before.
Inca Mummy Girl. It's coming in from LA. Then we see a half-blinded Tom Araya kind of guy walking in. I don't know if you know who Tom Araya is.
I
Anyway,
don't.
he is the lead singer of Slayer. Next, we
Thank
see
you.
bespectacled salesman-looking guy,
Oh,
Adilia.
this is my least favorite part of this episode. This guy.
It's not great. And yeah, you see him walking down Buffy Street. He stops briefly in front of the house, which is 1630. I can't remember the name of the street right now. Before walking over to her neighbor, we get to meet her neighbor, which is nice, Ms. Kalish.
For a few seconds, anyways.
If yes, yeah, she does. Boy, she, you know, I guess she wishes she had moved to the other house on the other side. He walks to this side. Now, this lady playing Ms. Kalish is Patricia Bethune. She, of course, was on Mad Men, True Blood. She had a good role on True Blood as well. Turns out she won a daytime Emmy, Adelia,
Okay.
for General Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
All
know.
right. Yeah.
I probably would know who she is better if I knew what character she played on True Blood because I watched that whole show. But
Yeah.
other than that,
She was one of the barflies, I believe. Like one of the girls. I can't remember if it's the vampire, or if it's the other
I'll
guy's
look
more
it up
the
later.
werewolf guy's more. Anyways, now the salesman, your buddy, is played by Kelly Connell. He was in CSI. If if Ferris ever shows up again, he was in CSI. He was in both Hot Shots movie. That's Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part Two. He was also on Night Court, which I thought was fun.
Mhm.
Now, he's allowed in by promising some free samples. Adelia,
Yeah.
would you take free samples from a man?
Absolutely not. No
No.
one is entering my house
Yeah.
unless I want them in there,
Yeah.
and I would not want a salesman in my house.
No. Well, I sure wish Ms. Kalish took your advice,
Yeah.
because the last thing we hear of her are her screams
Yeah.
as the door closes. He did not waste any time with
No,
Miss
he did
Kalish, I can tell you that. Then we see a plane land, and then a stowaway knocks out an airline employee. I don't know what kind of, I don't know if that's just a baggage guy or what, but she sure knocks him out.
Mhm.
So probably, she's probably the other assassin. So Giles informs the Scoobies that about the artifact that was stolen. Also, the thing is a cross, Adilia. It's a
Mhm.
cross. You know that thing that vampires are deathly afraid of and burn their skin? Crosses?
Yep.
Yep. Well, they're allowed to grab this one for some reason, because I have no idea why. I have no idea why. Again, I guess sometimes you just have to let the rules slide a little bit, because it'll get in the way of the story. After all,
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we don't see any of them actually touch the cross.
yep, that's true. But they sure look at it. They have to look at it
They
because they're
look
doing the
at they
book.
look at it. The Drusilla runs her hand above it,
Yeah,
but
strange, very
yeah.
strange stuff. They could have went with
I don't
anything else.
understand how the cross is supposed to translate the book, by the way.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say too. Like, how is this thing a key? Anyways, all right.
Unless there's something on the back of the cross that
I was thinking maybe
breaks it.
like there's a couple holes or something like that, and then you run it around
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, then we see Buffy backing out of researching to go on her little skating date with Angel.
Mhm.
Xander upset because there's no ho hos. Then
I mean, poor Xander.
I tell you what, if I was used to having ho hos for something, and I didn't get ho hos, I'd be no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what a ho ho is. I'm assuming it's some kind of Twinkie.
It's like a chocolate version of a Twinkie, if I remember correctly. I don't think I've ever had one in my life.
Oh, okay. Like a moon pie kind of stuff. All right,
It's
I get
it's
it.
it's not exactly the same as a Twinkie. It's definitely chocolate, I believe, but it's made by the people that make Twinkies, I think.
Oh boy. Okay. So next we get to see Buffy show off her skating moves. This is actually as Sarah Michelle Gellar used to do figure skating when she was a kid, so she got to do some figure skating. Uh,
She was skating pretty
hmm,
good for
yeah,
somebody that you can tell isn't used to doing that.
yeah. I can do spins and stuff like that on skates too, right, Adelia?
Sure, I wouldn't doubt that.
Sometimes I can even do it on purpose. Now, Cyclops, Tom Araya peeks in on her because everybody on the show is creepy. She slips, and then he grabs her over the boards.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, Angel is there, already vamp faced. So he stops him. They fight. Assassin guy grabs Angel. Okay, grabs Angel by the throat, of course, another throat grab. Won't be the last time. I don't
I
think
mean, he
even in
kinda
this
grabbed
episode.
Buffy by the throat too.
Yeah, like the chokehold get her over. Now, of course, Angel is a guy who can't breathe, so I don't know
Mhm.
what the whole grab a guy by the throat thing is gonna do.
Yeah, that was weird with
Anyways,
Angel.
so Buffy skates over, grabs the puck netting, and jabs her skate in his throat.
That was ridiculously violent.
You would
I
think
was
it's
like,
like,
"Holy shit."
yeah, skates can be incredibly sharp. We've seen
Mhm.
I don't know how many injuries watching hockey, even just
Yeah.
this playoffs. Poor Brendan Dillon gets his arm cut up there, his hand cut up. Uh, One thing I noticed that usually when there's an accident like that, hockey, a lot of blood comes out.
Yeah, there was no blood here. That was also very weird.
Yes. So I had to think like now they kind of explain on the thing that sometimes they're humans, sometimes they're demons. The Order of Taraka, it doesn't like either way. They're bounty hunters. They only have one job is to kill people.
I'd
So I'm
still think a
imagining
demon would
maybe
have some blood.
yeah they'd have something or like a dust to come out or something like that or yeah they'd make a
Yeah.
weird scream. This guy doesn't even make a noise. Well, he can't because his vocal cords been
Well,
cut.
you can't,
But
yeah.
yeah, he doesn't even go glub glub glub. He just kind of and that's it. So were you a little upset there wasn't more blood? No,
No.
you're a big blood person, aren't you?
No.
All right. Anyways, uh, Drew then feels that he's died because she has those mystic powers. And Spike
Mhm.
assures her that the plan's going to work. Angel, we go back to them, notices that the deceased had a ring with that mark of Taraka on it. Then you see Buffy trying to play nurse with vamp face Angel. He doesn't want her to touch him when she's like that. But they make out anyways. So
She said she didn't even notice his face was like that, and I was like, "How could you have not?"
yeah, they didn't even notice. Also, that when they start making out, they're doing it over that poor headbanger guy's corpse.
Mhm.
Like a man that should be bleeding out and probably gurgling or whatever. And they found, you know what, this is a very romantic thing.
Yeah.
But
And then, Kendra was there
yeah,
watching them.
oh no, that's the assassin. Remember, that's the assassin. But yeah, they didn't notice her there either. So
Yeah.
Giles also recognized the ring and tells us the Order of Solomon goes or Order of Taraka goes back all the way to King Solomon. So no, all right. He tells Buffy she should hide until they think of something. Then he tells her that even if you kill one, another one shows up again, like a Hydra head and stuff like that, until the job's done. As he's monologuing about about how some are human, some aren't, we get to your favorite part of the episode, Adelia. The salesman
No.
guy is in Miss Kalish's home. He's looking at Buffy's house through binoculars. Turns out there's some grub worms on the ground, and then eventually his arm, which has somehow got cut off or something like that, which we didn't see,
Yeah. Yeah.
it gets rebuilt by
Um,
grub worms.
I was eating while I was watching this episode,
The best would be if you were
and
like eating beefaroni or something like that. Ooh,
no, no, no. I was not happy when that happened.
too
I did
funny.
not finish my lunch because of it.
Oh boy. Yeah, I wonder if that's where Survivor got the idea from. Maybe. So
Maybe.
Buffy's wandering around the hall at school. She's looking pretty out of it for some reason. Seeming paranoid. And the kids are all looking at her funny. A cop gives her an odd look. A teacher then gives her like starts looking at her all awkward, and then starts combing his hair in front of her.
Yeah, what was that?
That was gross. I think that was more gross than the grubs.
Yeah.
Then she then she grabs the local poorly mustached lead guitarist, uh, one of Sunnydale's favorites, by again the throat. It's just a
I
thing
felt
they
real
do.
bad for Oz when she
Yeah,
did.
he was confused. He was a little confused. Now, I think this is a Sarah Michelle Gellar and Seth Green's first scene together on this show.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, which is fun, seeing how they are childhood friends. They were together, like even from like 6 years old or 7 years old or something like that, acting school or whatever. Anyways, Oz now considers Buffy to be a tense person.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, no, I fully understand where he's coming from. Then we see Buffy walk past her house. Then we see Willow and Giles talk in the library. Xander lets them know that Buffy isn't home. Giles is worried his words of warning were too harsh. Xander says, "You think?" And I said, "I don't think they were all that harsh. They're just trying to protect her." Turns out Buffy has broken into Angel's apartment
Mhm.
uh, and has decided to go to sleep there. No Angel, though, because he's over at Willie's bar, Adilia.
Yep.
We finally get to see Willie's bar. I think at some point it gets changed to Willie's place for some reason. But yes, Willie's bar. Of course, it's a bar we'll see a few more times throughout the series, and I believe in Angel too. I think. Anyways, it's a bar that serves both humans and demons, Adelia, which is nice of them, I think. So,
Nice of him, yeah.
yeah, Willie's played by Saverio Guerra. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And he's done a lot of stuff. Law and Order, SVU. He was on that show, The Detour. I don't know if you remember that, but I like that show. He was in Blue Streak, one of your favorites.
Okay.
No?
Sure.
He was on that show, Billions. And then, of course, he was, what's his name? Mocha Joe, I believe, in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So, yeah, he's had a good run.
Yeah, it
Anyways,
sounds like it.
Angel knows that Willie hears things. Willie's nickname, of course, Willie the Snitch. So yes, I believe he's right when he hears things. He wants to know who sent the Order of Taraka. Willie tries to plead ignorance. Angel convinces him to rat out Spike. Well, we'll say when I say convinces him, he forcefully did that. But before he gets all the info, the stowaway attacks him. Adelia.
Mhm.
Turns out she fights pretty good. She
Yep.
manages to best Angel and lock him in a cage in the bar's back room.
Mhm.
Does every damn building in this town have a potential jail cell?
I mean, apparently.
There was like a sale, like Home Depot or something like this. You know what we got here, guys? Prisons. Let's get
Yeah.
rid of them. Yeah. So she starts asking Angel questions about the girl he was with earlier, and I'll say in a forced Caribbean accent. Maybe not the you know you think of Spike's English accent as here, and then you think of the stowaway assassins accent as like here.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, almost a. It's almost like it was done for comedic effect. Anyways, he doesn't give her up, but the assassin locks the cage, and now conveniently that room has an eastern exposure, so that much like a James Bond villain, when the sun comes up, it's gonna fry Angel, and she'll be on her way doing something else. She leaves. He's stuck there. Poor Angel. Anyways, Giles tells Xander to get Cordelia to drive him to Buffy's. I don't know why. Now,
This made me laugh because it was obviously very early in the morning,
exactly.
and I can just imagine that phone call between Xander and Cordelia. Cordelia, I need you to get up and give me a ride to Buffy's.
No kidding. Yeah, he
And the fact
then,
that Cordelia did it,
yeah,
just
she's helpful. She's helpful now. He then has to wake up a sleeping Willow. She fell asleep in front of the computer. That's when she explains, "Don't warn the tadpoles,
that was very
Adelia."
funny.
Yeah, turns out she has, I believe it's pronounced ranita phobia, which is a fear of frogs and toads. Are you afraid of frogs?
No.
I'm not afraid of frogs. I think they're kind of gross. I remember as a kid having to grab them and stuff like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
Giles has discovered something, and that the Lax manuscript is a ritual, and that, thankfully for the plot, it restores a sick or weak vampire's health. Just then, we see that the transcriber has figured it out. Uh-oh.
Oh, indeed.
This can't be good. So Cordy and Xander arrive at Buffy's. Now, again, we're supposed to believe this is very early in the morning. Did it seem like there was it was quite bright out at the time to you?
Oh, they definitely filmed this at like midday.
So, anyways, this is the first time we ever hear someone mention the term Scooby Gang. And Xander
Mhm.
says, if you want to be a member of the Scooby Gang, you got to be able to do blah, blah, blah. Cordy isn't psyched about being friends with the Tweakos. Adelia.
Yeah. I don't know
The
what word that is.
Tweakos. All right. Xander then knows how to get into Buffy's house. Cordy comes in. Xander heads upstairs. We get a knock on the door. Then we see a familiar traveling salesman come to the door, Adelia.
Cordelia, what are you doing?
Well, he offers free samples, and that's like, what is she supposed to do? That's like that's what puts her back in a trance. Anything free. So she's like, yeah, all right, come on in. Now, meanwhile, even though it's super bright over Buffy's place, the sun is just coming up over at Willie's bar. Then we see Buffy wake up at Angel's place seconds before an axe comes swinging down on her head. It's the assassin stowaway again. So they start fighting. Buffy gains an advantage by doing a little bit of chick fighting, as she calls it, Adilia, which is just the putting her
Dig
nails
the
in the side.
nails and thing, and then she pulls her hair. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I wish I
classic
could.
chick fight stuff.
Just, yeah, well, I work at a bar. They do not fight like that. I can tell you that. They fight regular stuff. Worse. They're the worst. Anyways, the other girl's hanging in there with Buffy, like she's giving Buffy a fight. Then she asks Buffy who she is, and then Buffy says, "Wait a minute, who are you?" Then the stowaway answers, I'm Kendra, the vampire slayer. I'm not going to do the accent because, that wouldn't be cool. Anyways, she's
Yeah.
Kendra, the vampire slayer, Adilia. How? What? What?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I
I'm going
mean,
to,
Buffy died, so obviously they called another Slayer. And it's Kendra.
yes,
Okay.
it's Kendra. Uh, we'll find out more about that in part two. Little spoiler alert about What's My Line Part 2. My favorite episode of the series so far. I
Okay.
love What's My Line Part 2. I don't know if you've watched it yet or if you remember
I
any
have not.
passing.
I have not.
Oh, so
I
good.
try to watch it the day that we record so it's fresh in my mind. So
Smart. Oh, that's pretty smart. Yes, I will say it's my favorite Buffy episode so far. It's great. And we will talk about that next week. Yeah, there was times I was imagining thinking, oh, let's just put them both together so I can talk about it right now. But no, we've already talked about 45 minutes in an episode. I only wanted to really do about 20. So, Adelia, thank you, of course, for joining us on the Rewatchers Council.
of
Uh,
course.
Anywhere else people may find you over on our good Let's Get Ready Network empire.
You can find me on the Highlights channel with Snark every Tuesday for 2 more weeks.
Yes.
Doing the Starting 11 show, our English Premier League recap show. The season is almost over. We've got 2 episodes left,
That's it.
basically. That's
Yep.
it. So we will be back with that Tuesdays 3 p.m. Pacific on the Highlights channel. This show, of course, obviously Thursdays 3 p.m. Pacific on the Entertainment channel. Links to both those channels are in the description of this episode. And you can find me on Threads at Schizoaffective Adelia because I quit Twitter
Yeah.
finally.
I wouldn't even know the difference between the two of them, to tell you the truth. Actually, I was on the Threads once or whatever. It just reminded me of like Instagram without the pictures. Is that right? It's
I
kind of
mean,
like,
there's definitely pictures and
oh,
videos and
is
all
there?
kinds of stuff on there now. Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically Snap. Oh, is it Instagram?
It's very much like Twitter, except it
Oh,
doesn't seem to be filled with all the ads and the bots and the toxic shit. So
oh, that's good. At least,
yeah,
hopefully, not yet. Hopefully,
not yet, anyways. Yeah.
somebody will do something
Oh, I'm
ridiculous.
sure it's coming, but for now, it's a
Ugh.
much better alternative for me than Twitter.
Very good. All right. As for myself, we mentioned starting 11, of course, Tuesdays on the highlights. Also on the highlights, the playoff beards will be will by the time you've seen this, we'll have done another episode detailing what we think is going to happen second round of the playoffs. We're going to try and do more watch alongs. So we've just been super busy with stuff at work and stuff like this. So having a hard time trying to fit in everything that I'd like to do for the channel, but we will have an episode for you this week. If you didn't watch it live, you can go find it, I believe, on YouTube as well. If you have Twitch, I don't know if you can watch it again on Twitch. You probably can. What do I know?
You can watch the replay on Twitch for like 2 weeks.
There you go. And then Let's Get Ready Network After Snark Weekends. Did an episode with Danny this past weekend about Wolverine and Deadpool. We didn't want to talk about Star Wars on Star Wars Day. Talked a lot about Star Wars. Somehow talked a lot about Star Wars. Also, my power went out, so I got to know what it felt like to be a Nebraskan for a little while. And what else is going on? I think that's it. I think that's it for me, actually. I just want to say thank you all for watching the show. Yes, What's My Line Part 2 coming up, and I can't wait. And until then, bye-bye.